For more than 8,000 years, corn has been a source of spiritual and material life in Mexico. It is dogma and practice. It is culture, legend, tradition, and living history. It is daily life, food for the soul and the body. The Mesoamerican civilization, one of the most important in the world, developed in the heart of the American continent. It included cultures such as the Olmec, Teotihuacan, Maya, and Aztec. All of these cultures owe their existence to the same lavish deity, corn. The first inhabitants of these lands saw in the germination of corn the cosmic miracle of the continuous and everlasting renewal of life. Corn was the origin and the sacred matter with which man was created. For thousands of years, life has depended on the germination of the corn god. Ancient Mexicans discovered the domestication of corn, achieving a greater increase in size and differentiation of varieties than any other cereal or grown edible plant in the history of mankind. Aided by this scientific knowledge, they developed complex mathematical systems and precise calendars related to the agricultural cycle. Corn does not grow in an isolated manner. The milpa is its cradle and abode. A milpa is an agricultural unit in which corn and other vegetables are planted side by side, coexisting and supporting each other. This millenary crop system, deeply entrenched in the Mexican identity, is in harmony with the environment and constitutes an example of what we now know as sustainable development. Up to 80 different species of edible plants can be found in the milpa. Besides corn, ancient pre-Hispanic botanists and farmers also domesticated and improved other native vegetables: beans, tomatoes, pumpkins, chili peppers, peanuts, and many others. Mexico is one of the countries with greatest biodiversity in the world due to its forests, deserts, jungles, seas, rivers, lakes. The presence of milpa crops in different climates and geographical areas constitutes evidence of the close relationship between Mexicans and their environment. In the 16th century, two different and unknown worlds meet and discover each other. As a result, new ingredients from different parts of the world were incorporated into Mexican cuisine. Convents and monasteries became veritable culinary laboratories. Ever-present millenary terracotta, wood, and stone utensils, such as the molcajete and the metate, continued to fulfill their function and ritual. At the same time, products from Mexican lands invade and transform the world with their colors, perfumes, and flavors. Tomatoes, cacao, vanilla, avocados, chili peppers, pumpkins, peanuts, among others, all of which will become an essential part of such knowledgeable cuisines as the Chinese, Indian, or Italian. Mexican cuisine, the result of pre-Hispanic tradition and its crossbreeding, reflects a clear cultural continuity and its own and original gastronomic practice. Even though it has incorporated ingredients originated from other continents, native and regional culinary techniques, and the use of indigenous vegetable, fruit, and animal species, are proof of the undeniable continuity of the cuisines of the past, endowing today's cuisine with a unique character. Many recipes could have been prepared 600 years ago in an almost identical manner. Corn tortillas, now eaten in Mexico, have been prepared in the same fashion for 8,000 years. At present, nearly 450 million tortillas are consumed each day. In the country and in the cities, Mexican traditional cuisine is the basis that compellingly regulates the cultural heritage through the essence conveyed in the act of offering and sharing food. The tradition of markets, which nowadays preserves the same vitality and significance of pre-Hispanic tianguis and colonial markets, is proof of that. In the 21st century, markets remain as important meeting places, with their multicolored mountains of fruits, fresh vegetables, aromatic herbs, and myriad other products that are evidence of the diversity and richness of Mexico's regional cuisines. In Mexico, the cycle of life from birth to death is to a great degree centered on food. It is a forceful element of unity, eloquently mirrored in the profused religious calendar. The annual celebration devoted to the death is outstanding. Delicious foods, specially prepared for the occasion with the involvement of the entire community, are offered to the dead, strengthening social and family ties. This implies a great ability to preserve and hand down traditional knowledge from one generation to the next. Their cultural heritage is sustained and reaffirmed every day through a combination of ancient and modern technologies, whose nutritional values have been proven as effective. At present, the Mexican food system faces serious threats. This danger comes from unfair competition fostered by free trade and the import of subsidized products. The demand for land in jungles and forests for stock breeding. Barren soils resulting from the use of chemical products. Deforestation. Water pollution and industrialized and junk food, to name but a few factors. Recently, the presence of transgenic seeds has affected the millenary work of botanical selection undergone by corn and other vegetables, not to mention their effect on health and the environment. Unless there is an immediate response to this growing and silent danger, 8,000 years of cultural continuity may quickly disappear in the near future. Through their proclamation of Mexican cuisine as a masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity, UNESCO will establish a significant precedent with the acknowledgement of one of the living elements with ancestral roots that contribute to the cultural and material development of a people and a nation. By means of this important international distinction, Mexico commits to the implementation of education policies that will strengthen its dietary culture, traditions, and the proven nutritional qualities of its gastronomy. It will be necessary to launch programs related to the conservation of the cuisines of indigenous populations as an effective means to guarantee their continuity. UNESCO's proclamation will advance the recovery of food self-sufficiency, the conservation and care of indigenous species, thus enable an overturn on the import of corn, beans, and chili peppers, as well as promoting agricultural production and a decrease in migration and on the import of transgenic products. As a cultural identity card, Mexican gastronomy, sensuous and harmonious, is the heritage of its millenary evolution. It must be protected and promoted, since it represents the broadest assemblage of expressions and manifestations of Mexican culture.